What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of AfterNoonWave. That beat worked perfectly with that little Five Nights at Freddy's sequence. That was pretty interesting. If you couldn't tell by the title, and if you weren't here yesterday, welcome back. And we will be having the clown herself on shortly. In the second hour, Lil Lunchbox is going to be joining us. Pizza for me. You're such a dork, dude. We haven't gotten you banned yet. Good on you. Yeah, I don't see myself getting that way because, you know, I'm pretty soft and civil with the world, and, you know, Jesus Christ. Want me to tell you how shitty I am at Apex? Oh, it's bad. 4 kills total, and I've played probably about 20 games. That's how bad I am. Calling any hookers today. Okay, so if you guys missed it last night, I joined RDA Rostog on his show. We squared things away. I had a conversation with some very interesting characters that he has on his side of the universe, and a person named Sam Hill, who, wow, that guy can talk, and that guy sometimes doesn't listen to what you say. But by the end of the show, it was us calling the Bunny Ranch in Vegas, and CEO, one of their guys, was basically acting like he was sports talk radio and wanted to talk about the Las Vegas Knights. Yeah, so yeah, that was a good show. Jesus, Danny's prepped and ready for Lil Lunchbox. Yeah, I know. It has a weird learning curve, to be quite honest, Pizza, for me. And I mean, obviously, I'm playing on a controller versus people on a keyboard. Granted, I have my sensitivity and all that stuff turned way, way up. But yeah. Also, we are on both sides of the internet today. The dlive.tv/AGluck, as well as over here on the tube. Yeah, so we're gonna dive into some stuff, some news, and some, you know, funny videos, and then we're gonna be joined by Lunchbox around 12 our time. I guess it's about 10 her time, and we'll ask some question. It's me and RDA Ross are pretty good, and the audience. He was saying, because I popped over to his stream because they were doing their stream snipe thing last night, kind of like we do, where they will call into different shows on Wednesday nights and mess with them. And I heard them bring me up, and what's his face, Pop, the guy I showed you, he made the meme of me being Jimmy Neutron. He was on, and, you know, he was saying how I shouted out his channel and stuff, and I have respect for his content and what he's doing, and if, you know, I get memed on, I get memed on. That's in good fun. And so, you know, I popped in. We're good. Unbleached, I don't know what the deal with the Unbleached is. Apparently he hates me for trolling his stream when he trolls other streams, but it is what it is on that front. Ooh, I was going to talk about that, Chad, but since you brought it up and I don't have any articles pulled up, I'll dive into the Julian Assange stuff right now. So, if you haven't heard, Assange lost his refugee status with Ecuador as he was in the embassy in London. Apparently, he was not a very nice house guest there, and they had to constantly remind him to clean up his cat's shit, as well as not interfere with other states. And apparently people from WikiLeaks actually showed up there, got talked to Assange, and then they ended up dropping the information on the Vatican. Okay. That kind of frustrated Ecuador because he was supposed to be disassociated with WikiLeaks at that time and not touching them, right? Well, the fact that all this stuff started occurring, they started putting in stricter regulations on his refugee status and, his asylum, and he couldn't manage it. So they revoked his status. What's up, Frozen Asian Classic? What? The ramen shaman's gone. Now we're back to Frozen. So they revoked his refugee status, and London arrested him. The London police arrested him on an extradition request, as well as a bail issue in the UK. That was why he was pulled out. Now, will he be extradited to the U.S.? I don't know. I personally think that if he is going to, they need to avoid facing charges that fall into if he represents journalism. Because if they push issues and he is considered a journalist, it's going to set some interesting precedent around the world, because then other countries may be more likely to hold U.S. journalists, accountable for when they leak information about other countries, or they get stories from, sources about other countries. So that could be some interesting precedent set if the U.S. decides to try him and things start hitting the First Amendment stuff. Now, I don't care about Assange. I'm going to be honest. The only person I think that should not have to face up to some of the shit they did, I don't think we should be going after Snowden. Granted, what he leaked showed that we were being spied on, and he provided information to the U.S. people. But Assange leaked like the Chelsea Manning documents and shit like that, which actually had in use military shit going on in the Middle East, and that's the big issue. One thing to I don't think I would say Snowden, maybe, but Assange, I mean, what has he leaked? He's leaked information that could be considered and cause the deaths of people who are fighting a war in the U.S. For the U.S. in the Middle East. So I have a bit of problem with that. Whereas what Snowden leaked was classified information about technology and spycraft and shit like that on U.S. citizens. So they're two different sides of a similar coin. So I wouldn't take Assange's stance. Yeah, he'll leak anything he gets his hands on. Whereas the Snowden leaks weren't nearly as detrimental to the U.S. When it comes to the password thing, if he did help him breach a defense computer, then they can get him on that, and it's not about the publication. It's about breaching a federal defense computer, which would be the smart route for Trump and the Attorney General and anyone else dealing with Assange, because then it does not have to do with the leaks themselves. Then it's the actions taken to get the leaks, and then it's not setting precedent that could harm or hurt American journalists or even other journalists in the U.S. Outside the U.S. Because if they set this precedent and other countries are like, well, we're going to follow the U.S. What they're doing with it, and they start going after people in different countries in the US who leak information based on their laws, that's going to be some crazy shit. Jim covered it earlier. Check the tweets from Manning getting out of solitary and Assange tweet saying he's about to go to prison. I don't know. I don't know what should be done with Assange. I mean, if he goes to prison, so be it. He definitely, someone was saying he'll probably commit suicide in his cell. I don't know if that will be the case because there's so many people watching this right now. So many eyes are on this situation and so many eyes are on Assange that, it would be bad if he died in custody. If you watch the video of the Assange arrest, he starts yelling something about Trump. The one thing is that video is being silenced on YouTube according to an article and according to a video by Tim Pool that I caught this morning or shortly ago, that video is being pushed down. So I want to avoid playing it. I'll dive deeper into it for sure because I want to know. And I find these situations very interesting. Spycraft is very interesting to me. He kept saying resist. Jamie Deluxe has it on YouTube. The problem is what if, well, the UK must resist. 100% the UK must resist. The UK is nowhere in the boat of what we have over here. They are way more authoritarian in the UK. And it surprised, I didn't know he was holed up in the UK. That's not a good place to be because sooner or later they're gonna get their way and get him out. Royce played it, have some balls. Nah, man. I'm way smaller. I have way less of backing. I might play it tomorrow after I look at it and if some things go. Yeah, but then he says something about Trump as well. Says unavailable unless you pull it straight from his channel. That's the interesting part is they are pushing it down and they are deleting videos that have in it. He also talked about his foreskin though. Jesus. Yeah, it was the hunt. Yeah, it was the... No, I thought it was the Ecuadorian. I thought it was Ecuador. Are you trying to give me misinformation? Frozen. I'm glancing down at my phone right now to look because I had the article pulled up. I just want to see. I thought he was in like Ecuadorian, but I could be 100%. It is Ecuador. Frozen. Me and you, man. I thought you peoples were supposed to be smart. Oh, they all look alike. Okay, Equator. He was in the equator. Hold on. I'm gonna have to. Okay. I'm gonna have to play that. Give me a timestamp on Royce going off about that, okay? I want to see Royce going on about that's racist. Yes, that's racist. I want to see. They tried to charge him with fake rape charge. I don't know if it was fake. Like, wasn't it Sweden? It was Sweden who was charging him, correct? Like I said, I've never really dove into him other than, little bits. Oh, thanks, Wyatt, for donating over on the D Live side. I got some ice cream, guys. What up, irate postate? The fact that, I mean, come on. If he did nothing wrong when it comes to that, good. I'm glad they didn't get it to stick. Well, they did drop the charges. And, women, you don't listen and believe. You actually look at the facts and everything else. So he was in Ecuador's embassy in London. Yes, correct. And it was from Sweden, not the UK. Yeah. It was from Sweden, exactly. Yeah, but rape is pretty much an Olympic sport in Sweden. True. true. And then there's people who want to blame it on Sweden itself in regards to its Swedish people. No. It's not Swedish people, guys. It's a very specific South Asian refugees in Sweden that are doing all that. So who knows? But once more comes out, I definitely will cover it here because I want to keep an eye on it. And it sets a weird situation because that becomes the question of whether or not you're going to see Snowden extradited, if you're going to see him being forced out 1 hour, 5 minutes into the stream. Gotcha. So let's pull that up. Let's pull that up because Royce rants are always great. Let's see. If you don't know how to find him, Mersh has stolen the top name. You got to click search instead. Let's see. Hold on. He's showing Jordan Peterson at 1 hour and 5 minutes.
That I still have my foreskin. Take that. Kyle. I love this asshole. So I'm going to say that I appreciate it. Here, take my tithe, Jesus fam. Pay this man. You guys really know how to make me feel like a dick. All right, fine. I apologize. I'll say sorry, okay? Dave goes, I'm actually a goldfish with a fancy keyboard. Are you Klaus from American Dad? Because that would be dope. Oh, fuck. Royce, you're Jewish, right? No, as a matter of fact, I'd
buy that for $1.
Hold on. So Royce is not... Okay, hold on. You guys mixed it up. You mixed me up because I thought he was going off about Julian Assange's, not his own. Jesus Christ, Royce.
Thank you. I'm so not Jewish that I still have my foreskin. Take that.
Jesus Christ.
Show me your foreskin. I'm so not Jewish that I have foreskin. So a lot of people say they're not Jewish, but they're all clipped. I am not, and I have the foreskin to prove it.
Jesus Christ, Royce.
Hey, you're the one that asked. You're the one that asked, Dave.
Gross.
I don't want to hear it, fucking Israeli. I don't want to hear, ew, yeah, so what? I have my foreskin. I don't give a fuck, and I'm proud of it, too.
Is he going off? Yeah, he's talking to closer. Oh, God.
Don't foreskin shave me, bro. How dare you?
Jesus Christ, Royce.
How dare you? Foreskin Squad reporting in. 4-4 foreskin. 4-4 foreskin.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
See, look, JJ Stoner, fucking foreskin, dog.
Trump,
don't foreskin shave me, dude.
Trumpster
4-4
Bob.
foreskin.
That's gonna be Royce's new thing. He's gonna be the new Trumpster Bob when it comes to that, right? Instead of show me your butthole, it's gonna be show me your foreskin.
Do you smuggle coke inside your foreskin? No.
Jesus.
Put it up your butt.
What the fuck?
Oh, man. Oh, fuck, man. This turned really... How did I go from being fiery about Assange to talking about my foreskin? Eric Fernandez, Clip Squad. That's fucking weird, dude. You're Hispanic. You should have a foreskin. Eric Fernandez is a Jew. More like Eric Fernandez-Steen.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Why?
We went from...
Why?
I love...
Thank you,
Thank you, Pinochet. But what do you... I hate when it doesn't read stuff. And I have the censor stuff off, and it still doesn't. But don't worry. I got you, fam.
Jesus.
This counts as my Nick Abbott is a nigger faggot message that I was saving for the big show. I hope you're happy. You're entitled spick. You know what? I will remind people about that on the main show.
Just full fiery on...
We went from like
That was a super chat as well, by the way, guys. So I do not condone that kind of language here. I don't know your rules on D-Live, but I don't condone it, okay? That is horrid, horrid, horrid language. I actually don't care, but I gotta play like I do.
Man, Royce is really taking on the man.
I'd buy that for $1.
Thank you. Definitely a woman. Don't.
Jesus, do people not know their way around the Streamlabs censor yet? How many times? How many times? Come on. You should know. You have to talk about the Knickerbockers, guys. You cannot use the actual spelling. Let's get with it. Let's get with it. Jesus.
Donated. Okay, first off, I'm gonna read what you said. I don't know why. I guess I'll tell you what the. Oh, come on! I'm definitely a hot lady. You can tell by my boobies and vagina. I like women.
Hold on. Boobies got. Hold on. Boobies got censored. Boobies. What?
Things like cake and not being good at sports, so enjoy my extra money. Well, thank you, definitely a woman. But why would people's penises? That's what you get for calling me a fat. You're right, Nan Fire Squad. Fire Squaw. I apologize. I should have never. Okay. I should have never called you a fat guy.
Take these shekels, you hand-rubbing beta.
All right. You gotta be mean about it. Okay, here it goes.
Amazing.
Oh my God. Is that Jesse Lee?
That is amazing. Amazing.
What? And where do you guys find this shit? Jesus.
Amazing. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing.
Jesus Christ. Woo. We are apparently Royce, which we've already gone through this, went off on his manhood and not being clipped, and apparently that was the talk of Daywave. Jesus Christ. But yeah, there you go. If you're not over there, if you don't check it out, go subscribe. Show them some love. That's the video. That's today's Daywave. I have about, I don't know, 40 minutes, and I want to get through some stuff. And then we'll be having the non-LARPing, totally serious, 100% not joking, clown of clowns, Lil Lunchbox on. And Frozen Asian just dropped links. Those links are the best ways to support the channel. Also, down in the links, we have some affiliate links. You can support that way as well. And likes and subscribes. Likes and subscribing. Yeah. Likes and subscribing is one of the best ways because it gets it out there. Let's look at, I know I don't like her personally, but I like when she goes off on people. Let's take a look at Candace Owens basically shoving her foot up Ted Lieu's ass because he does what lots of Democrats like to do in clipping and taking things out of context.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In congressional hearings, the minority party gets to select its own witnesses. And of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens.
Frozen, when did you become a senator or a representative in the U.S.?
I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking. So I'm going to play for you the first 30 seconds of a statement she made about Adolf Hitler.
It's not a statement, guys. Just give you a heads up. it's a question asked of her.
I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you
Also, guys, I don't want you to forget that she was the person, as much as I'm siding with her on this issue, she was the person who wanted to start a doxing site for people of all ages, including children, listing their high schools. Don't ever forget Social Autopsy.
think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German.
All right, so my first question is to Ms. Hershinoff.
Because I don't want you to be able to say that this is BS and it's out of context. I'm going to go to the white lady in the room, because that's the Democrat move, right, guys? Believe all women unless they're conservative.
Ms. Owens said, quote, if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. So when people try to legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
Is it?
It does, Mr. Liu. I know that Ms. Owens distanced herself from those comments later, but we expressed great concern over the original comments.
Who is the we? And maybe there's something holding those glasses up.
Great, thank you.
Huh?
So there's been a lot of talk today.
Yes, we know. If you have frame drops, yes, it happens, guys. It's the way it works. Just fucking refresh. You don't have to say F every time. You know how it works. YouTube is a piece of shit. And you know what you do? You hit refresh. You hit refresh. Let me state it for the 1000th time. Refresh. If you don't want lag, probably take a glance over at DLive, because YouTube is the okay, Owen. No, it's just, come on. It's the same shit. Everyone tells me every day. We've had this conversation. There's something up with OBS. It drops frames for split seconds, and it only does it on the YouTube side. Yesterday, I watched back the DLive stuff, and it was just fine. But YouTube drops frames like a motherfucker. It's almost like they don't want OBS interacting with their platform. Who knows? But please just refresh. Please refresh. You know what you could tell me? Is if it's not a lag issue. If you see my screen black out, if you see it pop a copyright claim or something, tell me that. Thanks. I'm not mad. I just, it's the same. It happens every day, guys.
To focus on actual policy responses that our government can do to try to mitigate the threat of white nationalism.
Oh, yes, because putting in, I don't know, more laws deeming a certain group not able to have pride in their race, but every other race is fine in having pride and doing things like that. That's a good call. That's a very good call. And let's listen to the one person who is part of a group that has some of the biggest amount of pride in their race.
I know that in my district in Los Angeles just last month, 2 swastikas were painted at Pan Pacific Park along with the Trail of Blood. I met with Jewish constituents.
Let's see pictures of those swastikas, because I guarantee you they're going to be sloppy, not well drawn, and someone who actually had to think about how to draw said swastika, dude. Because it's not like they've proven that there's been how many false hate crimes in the last year? I don't even know the number because there's so many. Yes, there are crimes where people will use your race against you. But drawing a swastika, drawing other things, come on, man. That's not a play from the right. They don't run out and do that shit. Come on, man. Pull your head out of your ass and actually think about things for a second.
Constituents in my district who mentioned that at their synagogues, they've all had to increase security. As you know, there is a nonprofit security grant program at the Department of Homeland Security. Do you believe it'd be worthwhile to increase funding to that program?
A nonprofit security grant? There's actual funding that goes to providing nonprofits protection. Would they do the same for a predominantly, I don't know, white church? Predominantly black church? Would they do the same for them? Or is it only one specific group that gets money out of these funds? I'd love to know that answer.
The ADL has, for establishment reasons, First Amendment reasons,
Are you
been very
quoting the
cautious and
ADL?
wary of government funding to religious institutions. That being said, we well understand the fear and the safety. So I think that is something that has to be done very carefully in terms of one entanglement. I know in the place where in Westchester County, where I live, the state and local governments provide a great deal of protection to the synagogue to which I belong. So I do understand, and I would like to work more with Congress, but I want to caution about where we entangle. This is a very difficult thing to do because when we're scared like this, of course we want.
Okay. All right. Do they provide that same kind of protection to mosques? Not a fan of Muslims. I don't agree with a lot of their ideology or any of that shit. But are they going to provide it to them too? Or is there only one group that's getting this kind of protection? Why? I mean, you could keep saying it's because of we're scared. What? I mean, come on. You're one of the few groups of people that gets to stand on, I don't know, hundreds of years, gets to constantly bring something up.
So that is a great point you make, and I want to note that this program would apply to mosques as well as synagogues, so it is not specific to the religion.
Well, he corrected it.
It is true, the First Amendment does affect all these issues.
What about Christian churches?
For example, private sector companies who say whatever
Buddhist churches?
that they want. Now, I'd like to also talk about
Scientology?
a second program, and this was one that I asked Ms. Clark about, and it has to do with the Trump.
What kind of time frame does Mr. Dumbass here get to spend on this question?
Trump administration wanting to cut a very specific office called the Community Relations Service Office in the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. Can you first explain to American people what that office does and why it would be a bad idea to cut funding?
The Community Relations Service Office is a very critical part of the Justice Department. They are considered the peacemakers. They are the ones who step into communities that are embroiled in the aftermath of a hate incident. They are the ones who you'd want to.
Oh, did they step in Chicago? Because it's MAGA country? I bet they did. They did a good job. They did such a good job over there. So good.
Deploy out to Louisiana, to the parishes where the churches are burning right now. They're the ones that you'd want on the ground right after the show.
This office has worked well is because people who go there and get.
No, who you would want on the ground right after a church gets burnt is a cop, not some civil rights branch of the government. Come on. You gotta.
Interviewed It is not a prosecutorial office.
And most importantly, they're the ones who help to ensure that an incident doesn't escalate and lead to more tension. So we need this agency.
They ensure? Let's look at Baltimore. Let's look at, the St. Louis area thing. Let's look at all these places where these incidences shouldn't have occurred because this amazing branch of the Justice Department has done such a great deal. They've done so much work, guys. They've kept escalations down after hate incidents. So good. Let's waste more money there.
Now more than ever.
Thank you, and I yield back.
5 minutes, and Ted Lieu of Los Angeles, this fucking idiot, didn't even allow Owens to respond to his statements of fact about her being a Nazi or sympathizing with Hitler. Come on, dude.
Gentleman from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong.
Yields.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would yield my time to Mr. Reschenthaler from Pennsylvania.
People are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee. The witness will not do that again.
Hey, dumbass, you have big ears. Turn your fucking satellite dishes on and listen. Listen, you fucking goof. Dead serious. This is just further evidence that they're not paying attention. Thanks, Wyatt. I appreciate that. Rocking out Diamond. Holy shit. Dropping the diamond on the account. I appreciate that. You're awesome, man. If you don't know what that is, D-Live, that's 100 Lino. I really appreciate that, brother. Okay. Clean the shit out of your ears, old man, and pay attention. You're the chairman. You should be listening to every fucking word and not reading the Washington Post on the podium. Not sitting up there and making assumptions. So let's continue since you're deaf. Turn your hearing aid up, Grandpa.
Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't.
It takes a lot of tact on her part not to call him stupid. I would be like, dude, old man, you're stupid. You obviously weren't paying attention. Turn your fucking hearing aid up, and we'll continue.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
You can even hear other members saying, that's not what she said.
You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to...
Yeah. Look at this smug bastard, dude. Like, he's got that oh shit look. He's got the oh shit look on his face. Like, yeah, that's about right, Daniel. Yeah, so,
whether or not I believed that Hitler was whether or not I believed in nationalism and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives.
Ooh. I don't like her. I do not like Candace Owens. I do not. Hold on one second. Sorry, just getting a bunch of shit to my phone.
By the way, I would like to also add that I work for Prager University, which is run by an Orthodox Jew. Not a single Democrat showed up to the embassy opening in Jerusalem. I sat on a plane for 18 hours to make sure that I was there. I'm deeply offended by the insinuation of revealing that clip without the question that was asked of me.
I don't like her. 100% do not like her, but she is bringing the fire. Yes, bad people can do good things. And I'm glad that she hit him in the teeth. Because it's true. He 100% took her out of context to intentionally make her look a certain way. And because what? She's the Republicans' representative for this board, their witness. Because of that. Like, come on, man. Put a little time and effort into your work. So, yeah. Let's get on to the title. And that's not that. That's Attorney General Bill Barr testifying that spying did occur on the Trump campaign. If you missed this, yesterday when he was front of one of the committees, he said that spying did occur and he will be looking into it further. His office will be looking into it further. If Candace can be the one to hold their feet to the fire, then so be it. True. 100% true. Let's take a quick look at this. Let me pop this right over here so it's got a better angle.
Joining us now, Texas Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who is a member of the Homeland Security Committee. Congressman, before we get into the president's visit to Texas today and talk about his border strategy, I would like your reaction to the Attorney General today testifying that there was indeed spying on the Trump campaign and that he's looking into it.
Dude, I really like Crenshaw just because he reminds me of Snake from Metal Gear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it should be looked into. The Attorney General obviously has some reason for believing that. And, you know, whether it was spying or whether there was good reason for that spying, I think is the question that he's trying to answer. And I think the American people deserve to know that answer.
So in addition to the IG report.
Jesus Christ, wherever Crenshaw is, it is fucking loud.
That we may see very soon. It looks like AG Barr on a parallel track, but also the question was brought up why the Trump campaign was never even notified that that this was actually occurring.
Yeah, you would think that that's exactly what they would do if they really cared about solving a counterintelligence investigation. You know, I do have some history in counterintelligence. I understand what goes into these kinds of operations. And it does seem a little strange that we would not notify our fellow Americans when something like this is going on.
Now, this ties back into what I was saying earlier. Why would they notify someone they want to spy on? This goes into what Snowden linked. Do you think they were notifying everyone that they were scooping their calls and other things to listen for certain things? No. Why would they notify? Like, that's Dan Crenshaw from Texas. He was a SEAL, I believe, Marine. I don't remember, but he served and he lost. I think he lost it to shrapnel, right?
During the hearings, Congressman, a lot of debate over just how much, if any, of the Mueller report should be redacted. Again, with your experience in these kind of things, what's at stake if there are no redactions?
Well, it's hard to say. I have not read it. I don't know what's in it. There's definitely potentially classified material, damaging material that shouldn't be released. I still urge them to release as much as possible under the law.
I want to switch now.
And I agree with that. I think they should release it, but it's got to be it's got to be one of those situations where what is not, classified, they can't just toss it out there into the, ether and have like tons of secret information and stuff in it. Granted, I wish our government would be a lot more forthcoming with a lot of shit. And that's where, I mean, if you're gonna try to find information about someone or spy on a campaign, you better have good reason. And if they don't have good reason to why the FBI launched spying campaign on Trump before he was elected, they're going to run into some issues there.
Now, back to the topic of immigration, particularly border security. President Trump had an impromptu press conference, if you will, at a fundraiser day after hearing some heart-wrenching stories. He wanted the public to hear them. Representative Crenshaw, we heard about people finding dead bodies on their ranches, people afraid to go to their gates, homes afraid to answer their own doors. This is your part of the country, you know well. Just how shocking these stories are. I don't think the American public has ever heard them before.
Okay, one, this guy on the left is rocking a suit with a handkerchief, but the handkerchief is folded down to the extreme where you can't even see it. So why are you rocking the handkerchief, Grimace? Like, why is he rocking that? Take it out. You don't need it there. It's a distraction, and there's actually no justification for it being in with your purple suit. I don't even think it matches. I know it's more of a blue, but it's damn close to violet.
No,
it's
we need to get those kind
suit.
of stories out.
Lilac.
I've personally heard those stories. And because here's the reality. We have an overwhelming crisis on our border right now. Just this year, just this fiscal year alone, there's been more apprehensions than in an entire year over the last 5 years. We're at absolute crisis levels. Okay, so there's a problem, and we need to fix it. And there's a real issue with the fact that we don't have partners on the other side of the aisle who even have a desire to fix it, all right? They didn't want the wall, right. Okay? Then they voted that way. Well, what about the asylum process? There's a very obvious problem occurring here. People are taking complete advantage of the asylum process. Okay, they're coming over with families because they know that if they bring a kid with them, it's basically their ticket across, and they know they'll be released into the homeland. Well, that's an unsustainable...
Jesus Christ, how many kids? How many kids? This was Saturday.
Sustainable policy, and it's not fair to legal immigrants. It's not fair to cut in front of them. It's not fair to these migrants. We should be telling them that they can claim asylum in their home countries or in Mexico, so they don't have to make this dangerous journey across the border, which, by the way, is completely controlled by drug cartels.
I don't think they can. The one thing that he's off here is, why would they claim asylum in their home country when they're trying to flee from their home country, unless he's meaning at an embassy? I don't know.
Is resulting in human trafficking. It's resulting in kids being used and recycled over and over again by different adults to cross the border. I saw 16 different kids that happened to in one day that I was down there near McAllen.
Now, Representative, also the composition. Some have argued on the other side of the aisle from the Republicans that this isn't up to some of the crisis levels of before, but certainly the composition with so many families, with so many children being used this way, has to spark some greater sense of urgency, you would think, from Washington, D.C.
Exactly. You would think there's a different problem now, and it requires different solutions.
Okay, one question is this. It doesn't look like that wall goes that far out into the water. Am I right? That's surf break area, right? So it's not that far into the water. Why climb, I don't know, a 30-foot slate of metal? I don't get this. And then they're all filming it like they're doing some glorious thing. Come on. No, he said home country. In Mexico or their home country. Get it? He said their home country and or Mexico. That's the thing, is if their home country is where they're trying to get away from, the only logical way would be through an embassy there, if they have, you know, an embassy.
All right, we need more detention facilities there. We need more immigration judges immediately. These cases need to be adjudicated fast, and if they're not found to be valid,
boop, boop, there they are, coming to get you.
Then they can be deported right away. But instead what's happening is that we're being overwhelmed, and then everyone's just being released. Okay, and then that's it. I mean, They really don't come back. I mean, you can put deportation orders out there, but they're very difficult to enforce. Right. This is a completely unsustainable policy. It's not how you run a country. I mean, why even have borders at all? Why do we check people when they come in on airplanes?
Some don't,
what's the point?
Some don't want us to have borders at all.
But yeah, so I like Crenshaw as long as he doesn't go like, you know, crazy. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Pop, for having me. You guys do some crazy shit, and you guys have some really, really crazy people to deal with. I would, if anyone from the Auto Shed, if anyone from this community wants to compare who Sam Hill is Chicago Bear. He is Chicago Bear, if that gives you a take. Chicago Bear with less alcoholism, I think, is the case. Sicko was walking down the stairs and he stepped on the dog's toy and she just started freaking out. You gonna throw it at me? Oh, fuck you. Oh, yeah. Right here. He's got an idea for me for later on in the show. Okay. But she'll freak out. I have a sound bit up. Yeah. I'll keep it there just in case. Actually, she's just gonna freak out the whole time. I'll use the one. Yeah. But yeah, guys, so they got some crazies, fans over there who are, you know, a little insane as well. Let's see. I did want to see and bring this up to you guys. So now our favorite junior, freshman, crazy representative, and it's not Cortez, it's Ilhan Omar, accuses Dan Crenshaw of dangerous incitement for questioning her 9/11 comments. They had a bitter Twitter war, which escalated Wednesday when Crenshaw condemned Ilhan Omar for trivializing the deadliest terror attack in American history. You describe an act of terrorism on American soil that killed thousands of innocent lives as some people did something, Crenshaw said of an Omar tweet. It's still unbelievable, as is your response here. Response prompted by Omar's tweet earlier in the day, in which she accused Crenshaw of using the type of rhetoric against her that has prompted threats. Crenshaw has criticized Omar over a video showing her saying September 11th attacks were some people who did something while speaking at an event supporting the Council for American Islamic Relations. I never called you un-American. I did not incite any violence against you. You described an act of terrorism on American soil that killed thousands of innocent lives as some people did something. It's still unbelievable, as is your response here. This is dangerous incitement given the death threats it face. No one fucking cares. People get death threats. If you were so goddamn worried about that, maybe you shut up and stop fucking poking at the people in charge. The tribe you dislike, which is fine. I don't have a problem with you being a little bit shitty towards them, but you're just putting yourself in a shit position. Don't poke at and defend 9/11. I hope leaders of both parties will join me in condemning it. How about you condemn yourself and learn correct speech as a representative? My love and commitment to our country and my colleagues should never be in question. We're all Americans. Oh, is that some of those people? Some people did something. How about you say who did it? Name the people. If you can name those other people that you dislike vehemently, you should be able to name the same people. No one cares about your threats. Take it to the police. It's one difference to jump the ass of someone who's telling you that, hey, maybe you shouldn't talk about one of the deadliest incidents in American history in such a light fucking manner. But no. Homegirl is slightly retarded. Miss Incest should not be in office. 100% true. And people who put her in office, Minnesota, y'all need to fucking fix yourselves. Seriously. It's getting out of hand, dude. These are the people that people are electing to represent them. This is why certain people shouldn't be allowed to vote at all. There is a very, very massive amount of stupid ass people who do not need to vote. Voting in Omar, voting in, well, she primaried, and I think they both primaried. But nah, Minnesota is doing exactly what you get in response to important so many. Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know. Is she a 9/11 truther? Who knows? But apparently some people did some things. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Wasn't trying to play that. I was trying to look through my board and see what I got lined up, because I'm gonna step away in a few minutes after I get done ranting about fucking the second stupidest member of the representatives. And oh, Jesus Christ. You would think that homegirl would learn after doing this shit. You know what I mean? You would think that she would learn. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to play you a video from our upcoming guest. Take a look at this, as this is who we will be interviewing in the next. It did it again. See? Something is up. Something's up with, yeah, because it's not. Oh, come on. Lay off the music. So there's no vocals. These are just, God damn it, I don't want to play this. Actually, no, we're going to play something else, because that doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work at all, for the simple fact that it's got music in it that, you know, I don't want to play. So let's, oh, she's got a new video up? Hold on. Oh, let's hold on. Lunchbox has a new video up. We'll watch that. So, give me just a few minutes. I will be right back. Let's start this bad boy.
Get a clucking grip. Cluck the Claters, yeah, yeah. The lifestyle's not going anywhere. Hey, it's me, Lil Lunchbox. So, today I want to talk about something that a lot of people think is controversial, but I don't give a fuck, as you all know.
She's not wearing her makeup. Why isn't she wearing her makeup? What is going on?
So, I don't have makeup on because I literally just woke up. And this topic has been haunting my dreams, and I just need to get it out. I need to express myself, because it's just something that, like, it's just annoying, to say the least. This video might get taken down, but that will only prove my point that Americans are really fucking sensitive. Too sensitive, in my opinion, and hypocritical about their sensitivities, and that's the worst fucking part. Now, this is mainly about people who get upset about PC culture. I don't mean all Americans, obviously. I'm an American. I'm a very sensitive person. I embrace my sensitivity, and there's nothing wrong with it in my opinion. What is wrong is when people act like they're not sensitive and like they don't give a fuck about anything and like they're so edgy, and that people who are like, excuse me, would you do me a favor and, you know, not call me a colored person or whatever word that someone is just like, I personally don't want to be called that. People who are anti-PC will lose their fucking minds a lot of the time. Not everybody, but a lot of those people will be like, get over it. Welcome to the world. Welcome to society. Be an adult. Don't let words offend you. They're just words. Who gives a shit if someone says something that you don't like? That's reality. You can't hide from reality. You can't shield yourself from the blinding glare that is reality. But at the same time, these people will literally shit themselves. Literally, I've seen it happen. If you dare to mock or insult the US military. Now, we're not going to get into war crimes or anything like that because that would be a long ass video and y'all don't want me to go there. But there are a lot of reasons to criticize the US military. And sometimes people just like to make jokes. You know, sometimes jokes are funny. I agree that people are too PC sometimes. That sometimes you gotta lighten up and just laugh a little, you know? Life is way harder if you take it too seriously. I agree with that. But what I don't agree with is people who act like everything's allowed. Nothing is off limits. Words are just words, and if you get offended by words, you're a little pussy who needs to grow up. Those people, I'm talking about those people who also will lose their fucking minds if you dare to insult or joke about the US military, make fun of or make jokes about 9/11, or do anything to the fucking American flag that you have purchased yourself. Those three things, for some reason, when it comes to people who swear that everything's open to being mocked and made fun of, not those three things. How dare you? How dare you mock my country, America, our military that has fought for your freedom to say whatever you want, but don't you dare say something that hurts my American feelings. Don't you dare burn the American flag or step on it or do anything with your property that you bought. Although that seems kind of, I don't know, strange that a country that prides itself on freedom would have an issue with someone burning or destroying their own property, no matter what it symbolizes. I find it hypocritical. So I don't get it. I really don't understand. It's like when people lost their minds over a 9/11 display, memorial display made out of soda cans, soda boxes. That was offensive. Apparently you're not allowed to recreate the Twin Towers out of soda cans, boxes, whatever the fuck, even if you're doing it as a tribute. That's just offensive. I don't know. I think Americans, the ones in particular, but this is a lot of them that I've encountered, are confused. It's like, also happy holidays. That's another one that a lot of people get pissed about. That is your...
Okay, you can mock whatever you want. I'm fine with that. But here's the issue. You're mocking the people who don't have a choice in what they do because they went into the service. So mock them, but I understand you should mock their bosses, you know? It's like talking shit about Amazon, right? Or some other company, YouTube. We're not talking shit about the people specifically at the bottom level or the creators. We're talking shit about the higher ups and mocking them and mocking the overall corporate structure, right? So mock away, but just remember that there's normies in the positions and people are going to be sensitive about it, you know? They're going to get frustrated because maybe they've had a family member who died. That's the whole benefit of free speech. You can say things and you can mock things, but you have to remember that there's going to be repercussions for every action. It's just the way of the world and the way it works, you know? You gotta live with the outcomes of said mocking. And if you're willing to live with the outcome, so be it, you know? 7-Eleven was an inside job. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna set this up, and am I on my account? What's going on here? Why is it? There we go. We're gonna shoot her. The Google Hangouts. We'll see. We'll get her up on the screen once she answers the call. Let's get that all squared away. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, and that we get this thing rolling so I can actually bring in Lil Lunchbox. What was the question? Where were you when they built the ladder to heaven? Yeah, I don't know. Mock what you want. That's my thoughts. But expect some sort of outcome or some sort of repercussion, you know? Sorry, I'm getting this all squared away on my end. But yeah, so while we wait, we will. Let me get this squared away so we can actually get Lunchbox in here. So as you guys can see, so you can see what's going on. Hangouts are good to go. We'll wait for Lunchbox to jump in. If you can, I would ask that you tweet out the interview, tag who you think would be interested and relevant in seeing it. I do want to bring up some questions, and I was provided some context to certain things that I didn't know, and some of the things that Mersh and others have brought up in relation to Lil Lunchbox, thinking that it's a troll, thinking that it's not something, you know, that is not, there's some sort of play behind it. But while we're waiting, we'll continue on this. No, we're gonna move on to the video that popped off, right? So this is the video. This is the video that got her seen by James Woods and many others, including Medicare and a bunch of people who started covering her because of this. So this is that video. Here we go.
Lunchbox. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Lil Lunchbox. So recently I made
the music. Holy shit.
A video addressing how apparently the alt-right and a bunch of other people who tend to, not always, but they tend to live in basements or with their parents. And I don't really think that that's something to make fun of people for, because there's nothing wrong with living with your parents. Living in a basement, I mean, I think the lack of sun exposure is possibly a reason why they're so unhappy. I think that's something that is relevant when discussing all of this.
Jesus Christ, the music.
Anyway, I made a video talking about how I think it's disgusting that this frog, Klepe is what I have renamed him, that he was being used to further their agenda. But I gave him a new identity, Clydentity, and now he stands for everyone. Black, white, gay, straight, cisgender, transgender. Klepe stands with us.
Oh my God. I feel like she's poking at the boards and trying to get people to be pissed off. Yeah. Oof.
I'm with him. Anyway, so today I thought that I would read some hate, not comments, but reviews. On the page, you are able to leave a review. Most of my reviews are negative because people...
Hey. Do I got sound? There we go.
Hello?
Hey, thanks for joining. How are you?
No problem. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, for those in the audience who don't know, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My name is Lil Lunchbox, Washington. I live in Sweden with my soon-to-be ex-husband, hopefully. And I am dedicated to ending clown oppression. And right now I am working towards Klepe, you may know him, but Klepe in his clown form into a symbol of diversity and acceptance.
Gotcha. So you're trying to take the Pepe clown meme and own it, right?
Yes, essentially. Not, but I feel like he should be, anyone can use him, but I'm trying to change the image from being so negative.
Okay, so what's the negative connotation that you see with the clown Pepe? Is it because of like what people say about the alt-right or what? Or assuming that it's part of the alt-right and whatnot when it started off as a harmless meme and then it got made into something more because of the way the left and others took the bait.
Well, see, that's the thing. People always say like, oh, they're taking the bait. It's not really a racist thing. But I mean, people are always associating this frog with, the alt-right and everything. And maybe it's a little blown out of proportion. I don't think that it's inherently racist. Like there are people who think that if you use that frog, that you're racist. And I don't think that, but I mean, I do feel like a lot of people like to put Klepe in a lot of racist situations. And I guess that's what I'm talking about specifically. I don't care who uses Klepe, I don't care about their politics, but I care about him being used in a negative way because I feel like it just perpetuates negative clown stereotypes that already exist.
Okay, so what are the negative stereotypes about clowns? Because, I mean...
Well, I could go all night, but...
I mean, give us a few. Give us a few of the negative stereotypes of clowns.
So they are always associated with, am I intentionally not on video or is this just my camera not working?
I think you turned it off. You can definitely be on video. I think you just have it off.
Right, like I'm pressing the button and it's ignoring me. Like it's the button has like a slash through it, and then when I click it, the slash just comes back. That's
Yeah, weird, because it's
weird.
it's set for video call. You want to try it again now? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is.
And my camera is on, like it's.
Were you
working.
running?
I don't
were
know.
you running OBS earlier?
I'm sorry?
Do you use OBS?
No. Wait, hold on. Let me try again.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah. So if you, my camera won't show up to you because I'm running OBS and I'm using it to run my camera, so it
Right.
has priority over it.
I have no idea why it didn't work. I pressed it a few times and then it came on, but.
Gotcha. There
But
we
anyway.
go. That works better. So it looks like I'm not just interviewing a talking picture.
Right. Hello. But yes, what I feel are negative stereotypes are, for instance, like when most people think of clowns, they think of something scary, like It, for example, a killer clown eats children. They think of pedophiles like John Wayne Gacy, or they just think that you are crazy because the image makes people think of someone crazy. I don't know, but the main two that I focus on is that everyone brings up John Wayne Gacy and everyone brings up It. And I'm just like, not all clowns are bad. So many people are afraid of clowns. People have told me, I used to be afraid of clowns, and then when I started watching your videos, I realized they weren't so bad. So I do feel like I'm making progress.
Gotcha. So it's not like any kind of like bringing down of clowns or, you know, the whole tears of a clown situation. It's more like the negative people who've used clowns and you know, the connotations that kids get scared by clowns. But I mean, some people just have fears. How are you gonna get away from people who just find them scary?
Well, I mean, I feel like part of it is like when it comes to phobias, for example, which are more intense, obviously, than just a normal fear, it's actually not that hard to get rid of a phobia if you do it in the right way. But of course, that requires a doctor, a professional. But I feel like if it's not even a phobia, it's just a fear, I feel like a lot of that can just be based in their experiences. I had a clown jump out of a bush on Halloween once when I was a child, and it terrified me. And I really didn't like clowns for a while, but then I was like, that was just one incident. That doesn't represent them as a whole. So I just want to change the negative outlook.
Gotcha. So a lot of people I think it's an act, right? It's been said. Some people think it's not real. And I played a clip yesterday from a very big YouTuber by the name of Mr. Medicare. He covered you on his stream to like 10, 13,000 people, right? And the
yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, and the James Wood publicity and whatnot. Now, Mersh and Revenge of the Sis over there, the Nightwave Radio interview you had, they looked into things and thought it was a joke. Why are you saying it's serious and it's not a bit? I understand if you're willing to cut your hair for the role and the part, it could be more on the serious part of it. But how are you dealing with the people who are saying that it's not real?
Well, first of all, I'm very used to that. People are always saying, I can't tell if this is real, I can't tell if it's fake. And like I always say, I don't necessarily blame people because I get that it's hard for me to get it like from a personal experience because like I know myself obviously and I've always just been like a weird, crazy person. Like my parents, when I decided to do this, they weren't surprised. When they tell people, our family members, they're just like, oh, makes sense. Like I've just always been someone who I feel like this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it. And yeah, I mean, I've always loved the clown aesthetic and I embraced it. And I understand, like I said, that people might think it's fake or whatever, but I don't know what else to say except that it's not. And I don't know what digging they did. Someone said that I trolled relationship forums. I mean, everyone knows, like all the Lunchables, everybody, that I am fond of a copy pasta. I have a sense of humor. I've posted that type of stuff before. Like I posted something where it was like, I'm Bria's mother and blah, blah, blah. It was just a copy pasta and people thought it was my actual mom. And I was like, it was a joke. Like none of it made sense. Like my mom lives in America. She can't take my internet, you know? So I do like to play like pranks on people, but I don't think I could do something this consistently and like pull it off because I've never been able to stick to anything like in my entire life. But
well, the reason why a lot of people ask the question, and it's because of Reddit posts that, you know, and Facebook posts and statements of, I'll pull it up on the screen for the audience and I'll even send it over to you because Mersh and them sent it over to me because they're like, I asked him, I'm like, what's the stuff that you guys found that makes you think it's not real? So I can actually ask the question and show it to the audience.
Right.
I have a picture up and it says, which background should I use for my Tinder? Yes, that's my husband in the background. Yes, I'm cucking him and he doesn't know it. Just to get that out of the way. Now, tongue or no tongue? So if you're playing the trolling game on these kind of situations, that's where the question comes in of whether or not this is real. You can understand people's thoughts, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't trolling.
The cucking thing wasn't a troll?
No, and I was going through a time where I was really trying to find myself. I started wearing wigs after I shaved my head. And like I would post in these groups where everyone was like, oh, you know, we enjoy shit posting and those types of things. And I would embellish a little bit, but like I really did do that. I really did post it on Tumblr. Now, does my husband, Tinder, does he really care, you know, if I sleep with other people? I mean, technically not, and you know, how our relationship was, but I mean, he's not fond of me, you know, humiliating him on the internet or making him look like a cuck, but like we were having problems and I felt neglected. And sometimes it's hard for me to just be like, that's why I don't think I'd be that good at trolling long term, because as soon as people are saying things that I feel like, I don't, you know, I look bad or something, it's hard for me to play along. So like at that instance, I was just like, you know, people are calling me a thought and they're saying these terrible things about me. Like I should just, you know, if they think it's a joke, they can go ahead and think it's a joke, because it was kind of embarrassing. But like, yeah, I mean, for me, it was a little bit like embellished, but like I did do that and we were having problems. So it wasn't entirely like bullshit.
Okay. So in another image that they came across, it was a post to Reddit, which you've stated is your Reddit and, you know, everything like that. There is a post where it says, I'm the girl in the pictures, and I posted this in a group where anyone with a brain knew I was joking. Laughing my ass off, my husband is in on it. I've done something similar in the past, and it amazes me that people in the group keep falling for my antics. Last week, I said I was a devout Christian, and it made a video of me crying about how everyone is a degenerate, and suddenly I'm a thought posting about committing adultery, and these idiots buy it. I change personas pretty often, and somehow they don't catch on. Haha. But it is a pretty big group, so I'll give OP the benefit of the doubt and assume he didn't see any of that. So your own words are challenging your statement right there. So was this because you were tired of being called a troll, or are your words that were written by you the truth?
I mean, I feel like it was a little bit of truth and a little bit of bullshit, because I just feel like some of it was a little bit embellished, but at that time I was going through some shit. And I feel like I was having a hard time just owning up to that and being like, okay, you know, I'm having a hard time. I really did. It wasn't as extreme, the whole religion thing, but like I did have a brief period where I was like, you know, I feel like I've kind of found God. Like I feel like I do want to look into this a little bit. And like I would just kind of make it a joke because it was easier to deal with, because like I've never been a religious person. And yeah, I don't know, I just feel like there's always a stereotype of like, oh, all women have BPD. And like I was just really, people would accuse me of having that basically when I would like change a persona or act a little different. They were like, oh, she so has borderline personality disorder, that, you know, and I was so like disgusted by that. I don't know, like I just had this horrible association with that. I was like, I don't want to be associated with that, you know? So it's easier to just be like, everyone said I'm a troll. They're like, she's a troll, she's just a master troll. And I was just like, isn't it better if they think that this is all a big joke, you know? Like, I mean, like, again, it wasn't 100%, you know, I would embellish, like, it maybe become a character a little bit with the religion because it was so far from, like, what I could comprehend. And I do think that I have had a tendency to do that, to get too sucked into if I want to just play a little joke or something. And the clown thing, I mean, I really was just embracing this aesthetic that I was, like, always in love with. And maybe it was easier to slip into that when I thought that people thought that I was full of shit a little bit. So maybe it did start off a little bit as kind of like, oh, I'm just kind of kidding here and there, but like I'm a really sensitive person, and I think I just got sucked in. I got sucked into the mean things that people were saying about me, and I felt bad about myself, and I was just like, it is kind of easy if I just let them think that it's all a big fucking joke. It's like this long con, and I'm not having these problems, and I'm not, you know, humiliating myself. And then eventually I was like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm going to be who I want to be. Like, I'm not ashamed. So I understand why people think that it's bullshit, especially if you read that. Like, that's completely understandable. But
yeah, because
I
you gotta,
really, truly am Lunchbox.
Well, because you got to see if you're putting up a trolling post that says I'm cucking my husband, and then it comes out that Robin's in on it, and I don't know if he's ever openly admitted to it. I would have to have and dive some more, but that would be counter to what you're saying, you know? So that's why it's hard for people to buy into it when they come across things like this, where it's like, maybe you were joking about the Christianity thing, but then that statement of I was making the jokes about being a devout Christian and, you know, shouting at everyone that they're degenerate is using that as an example to why the cuck post was a joke. So outside of the Christianity thing, how real was the cuck thing? Because it's hard to believe that you don't troll these boards and mess. And dude, believe me, I like me a good troll, and I like fucking with people. So if you are pulling off the master of all trolls right now, congratulations. You don't have to tell me, but people are gonna have that misconception, you feel?
Oh yeah. No, it's understandable. And like, and part of me feels like, I mean, it would be kind of better in some way if it was a troll, because I think people would be less like, wow, this person is disgusting and crazy and insane, and more like, oh, that's kind of cool. But like, it's honestly just not. But I understand why people think that. I don't think it's unfair to think that. And also, I was never really on Reddit. I think people just posted those things there, and then it became this big thing. And I think I read the comments that people were leaving me, and I guess it just made me like feel bad. I mean, I can't deny that I'm a very sensitive person, and like I read a lot of the things they said, and like I know I don't, you know, they don't know me, and it doesn't matter, but I would just feel so sometimes like I want to prove them wrong, like I want to make them feel stupid, you know. But like, again, the cuck thing happened, like that was real. But again, I knew that, okay, if I say it, like I knew that people were going to give me attention for that particular post. Like I knew that people were going to be upset about it, but I was also having issues with Robin. So I feel like there was just like some truth, mostly truth to that. And then there was like a little bit embellishment here and there of like, I'm going to like, you know, pose like this right in front of him and take a photo of it in this moment, obviously, because I wanted to upload it.
Okay. So you said you don't really hit the Reddit too much. But your account is extremely active. I mean, that's where...
I mean, I talk sometimes about certain topics, but I mean, like, I'm not really, like, perusing. You know, I read things, I respond to people, I like to do that thing where people draw you poorly, and I've been in communication, like, you know, in that way. But I mean, like, I'm not, like, Like someone said I was trolling relationship forums. I was like, I've never done that.
Well, I think they think you're trolling relationship forums because of the fact that they saw the cuck joke and then, or cuck statement on like Tinder on the Facebook page, and then it is actually shown you openly stating that, you know, it was a joke and you mess with people and you mess with these boards, which honestly, do you. I have no problem messing with boards and screwing with people, but
I mean, it was a Facebook group where like everyone would kind of try to like outdo each other with like the crazy shit going on in their lives. Like someone would say something and then people would it just became like this weird, sick, like obsession with like, oh, I did this crazy thing or I did this terrible thing. And like people would get like, you know, riled up and crazy in comments, and it was like drama basically. Like that's what the group is based on.
Yeah, and I understand that. It's just the fact that that group came about and you were talking about how you like to mess with the group, and maybe, you know, that's what the group is for, but like it becomes hard to buy into the whole clown situation, and don't.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Don't take anything I say here rough or anything. It's just one of those situations.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I know. I think that it's understandable, and if I were you, I would absolutely be like, this sounds like bullshit. Like especially nowadays when everyone wants to do something to be noticed or something, and if you act crazy, you're gonna go viral. You know, that type of stuff. Like I was shocked when that video of me chasing Robin got any attention, because to me it was just like a few people who liked when I started clown posting in that group. Like I started seriously getting into it. And again, like it did kind of start off like under the guise of like kind of a joke, so that it was easier to like accept. But there were people who were really supporting me, and they were like, oh, you know, you do you and you go girl and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, should I create like a page, because people in the group were tired of my posting. And I was like, and I just want to be honest and like be myself. And then I did, and I had like maybe 50 people liked it. And I was like, oh, this is like cool to have a little audience. And then it just somehow blew up. And I haven't, you know, I'm terrible at keeping things up consistently. Like I couldn't do this if I wasn't just like, I'm genuinely just enjoying being a clown.
Okay, so then you were saying that you got the Robin video, and then you posted it, and you enjoyed and saw that people enjoyed the post, and that's kind of what made you stay in the mindset, so or keep you there. So and clown posting, and it's like, I mean, in reality, how often in your day do you walk around in makeup?
How often in my day do I what? It got cut off.
Walk around in the makeup and stuff.
Pretty much 24/7. In the beginning, it was like I said in that interview, the Nightwave interview, I said that I put my makeup on the first thing I did in the morning before I took a shit. And that was true at the time. I really did feel like I needed to have the makeup on all the time. But I don't know, the more I've done this, and I've done some videos where I'm not wearing makeup because it's not something that I feel like I need all the time. So I don't wear it as often as I did in the past, but I still wear it when I go out, when I go to the grocery store. Like I'm pretty sure I'm known as the crazy American clown lady. If you ask the woman who usually rings me up, she's definitely commented on it. On Halloween, she was like, is this a costume or is this just like your everyday? Like, cause it was around like late September, October when I started doing it. I was like, no, this is just me. So yeah, but I can't deny that there are days when I'm like, I do let society get to me, and I'm like, you know, I don't feel like being stared at today. I don't feel like people looking at me like I'm an insane person. I just want to like not see anyone, and I zip my hood up and I don't have makeup on. So it's not a 24/7 thing, no.
Okay, gotcha. So then it's not it's a persona.
No, I wouldn't say that. I am a clown inside. I don't feel like I need the makeup to be a clown, but it's a form of self-expression. It's just any way that someone does their makeup, where they put on foundation, they put on false eyelashes. I don't think that's a persona. It's how they enjoy expressing themselves. So for me, this is how I express myself. But I don't feel like I need to be, especially when I shave my head like this. That's when I really was like, I feel even more like a clown, you know, when I'm not wearing makeup, because like this is clearly a clown haircut. But yeah, I don't feel like I need it.
Hey, aren't you stereotyping clowns by stating that this is a clown haircut? Come on. Don't do that to your people.
I mean, I think I'm breaking a lot of stereotypes of being a female clown who does it. So not entirely. There are a lot of different types of clown hairstyles. So
I don't know. I remember a guy I went to school with when I was in elementary. His mom was a clown, and it's probably the only clown I could physically think of that wasn't some random famous clown. Are you trying to be the next like Bobo or one of the big clowns in the world?
No, because I don't know how to, it's my relationship with, and I try to explain it to people. It's like, it's so much deeper than just an entertainer. Like, I do feel like I entertain people. I know people find me like funny and they like my sense of humor, and I use it to cope with, you know, things, and I love to dance. And, you know, I feel like that's very traditional clown stuff, you know, entertaining people, but I don't feel like, I don't really care so much about that, you know, of being like famous or having some type of like, you know, like, oh, like I'm such a great clown. Like, because I feel like I don't fit people's traditional idea of what a clown is in the first place. Because the way I do my makeup, sometimes people are like, what kind of clown makeup is that? You know, I don't fit any of like the rules. I don't know how to juggle, you know, it's like, I enjoy entertaining people, but I don't really necessarily know if I see that as like my job.
Okay, so you don't know how to juggle. Can you make balloon animals? Someone in my audience wanted me to ask that. So
I'm in the process of learning. I'm having issues because I just cannot stand the sound balloons make when you, it drives me insane. So that twist sound, I got to get past that, but I'm in the process.
Gotcha. So are you going to try
I'm just finding myself.
Are you going to try to juggle as well? Are you going to learn to juggle?
Yeah, I want to. I've always, as a kid, I would always try, and I was like, how the hell do people do this? I don't understand how they do it. But my hand-eye coordination is like awful in some ways, but it's pretty good. Like, I'm really good at, like, I can really catch when people throw things. Is this a black joke?
No. Rhythm as in like consistent rhythm. I mean, I know your feelings on the word nigga already, so I don't need to dive into that or make a joke on it. It's okay.
The rhythm joke I would have laughed at, you know, we can leave the other thing, you know, but no, I don't really think people say I don't have rhythm. I was always mocked because of that. So I don't think that's it, but I just feel like I feel like I could get it, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is a rhythm thing. Then maybe I'm in trouble. I don't know. I thought it was more about like, you see what's happening and you're really good at like hand-eye coordination, but
so for everyone on screen, if you're watching this part, she is showing how to juggle, not juggling balls, human balls, because that looks really awkward. It looks really awkward.
You're technically juggling balls either way, so.
Oh my god. Sorry, my roommate in the background is watching as well, and the juggling balls got him. So you posted a video that you were a Trump supporter at one point. Are you? Was that at that point? Did you flip over to this because you think the progressives and the left, or did your mind get warped by Sweden? Like, what brought you to going after the alt-right and poll and stuff like that?
Well, the Trump supporter thing was a joke. And I really thought people would get that it was a joke because I feel like my politics are so far from right that I just didn't think people would. It was like a running joke between my friends. So when I put it in my video, which again, I didn't really think many people would see, I was like, this is so obviously a joke. And then people were mad at me. They were like, Trump supporter, I can't be a fan of you. You used to support Trump. Once a Trump supporter, always a Trump supporter. And I was like, oh, I guess I should have expected that. So, but no, I was never a Trump supporter.
Gotcha. So it was another goof. And okay, so then here, let's ask you a question about your country. Well, not your country. You're an American who lives in Sweden, but what is your thoughts?
I live, my country of residence.
Yes. What is your current thoughts on the immigration issues facing Sweden and all the high numbers of rape, being a woman who lives in the country?
Well, this might be a long answer, but I will try to keep it concise. So, my feelings are that when you have an influx of people from a very different culture, which in Sweden, some people think it's taboo to say that. I have encountered online talking to a Swede where people were talking about the difference in culture between Middle Easterners and Swedes, and they thought they were implying it was racist to suggest that there's a culture clash. Obviously, I think that's absurd because that's natural. If an influx of Americans came to Sweden, there would be a culture clash. So I think that's to be expected. And I do believe that when it comes to how Sweden counts rape, it is different. I mean, I know that. That is a fact, that there is a higher instance of rape in general because the way that it is classified, it's more broad. Like certain acts are deemed rape in Sweden that wouldn't be like in America, for example. I'm not going to pretend that part of the influx isn't to do with people coming from the Middle East. I do think that Swedes have a very hard time in some instances, in a smaller scale example, in schools. Robin and I talked about this in the past, that there were some kids whose parents were Middle Eastern, and they would act out in school because in Middle Eastern culture, it's very common that when you're at home, your parents will, smack you and tell you to get your shit together.
Well,
but once you go out, the teachers are allowed. That
needs to be the case because, I mean, you look at and I don't know your age, but you look at people younger than me and this newer generation need a spanking once in a while. The whole I'm going to call CPS here in the States thing is getting out of hand. And that's why everyone's so fucking sensitive over here these days. No offense, but that's just, it's bad. It's getting bad.
I personally don't agree, and I can get into that. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, this is an example, again, that these kids are hit at home. But then when they go to school, their parents, because in the Middle East, teachers, any adult will discipline the kid if they're acting outside of the house. But that's obviously not the case in Sweden. It's completely illegal to hit your kids. And I will say that Swedish children are extremely well behaved. Just saying. I was hit as a kid often. I got spanked a lot. My behavior was trash. So it varies. I think it affects kids differently. It really depends. But anyway, so that's just an example that, the culture is different. So I do think that, sure, like there might be issues, like it's a very misogynistic culture. Like I think it's naive to not talk about that. I don't think it's inherently like a race thing. Some people portray it that way. Like it very much has to do with the type of place that you're raised in. And I think that there's obviously going to be issues like that. But I do think it's blown out of proportion because people will act like, oh, women are just being raped in the streets in Sweden. And I'm like, I feel much safer living here than I did in America. Sweden is a safe society overall. Have there been incidents like that? Absolutely. But I'm just saying from my experience of living here, it is blown out of proportion.
But have you gone into the no-go zones? Have you tried walking through the no-go zones as a woman?
I don't know exactly what places are the no-go zones. I've been to an area that I don't know if that's considered one of them. It's considered like the ghetto, but I don't know if that's technically a no-go zone. As far as I know, that whole thing is blown out of proportion. I have seen the videos of reporters going to those areas and, people trying to get them to leave and everything, but
and police at them, not only that, but police escorting them out for their own safety, advising them not to be there because of how bad it is. And that's Sweden. That's one of the things you guys are facing over there. If you were to try,
all I can say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, if you walk through there, you would probably be pillaged. Come on, think about it.
I don't know. This is a good idea for something that I can do. Maybe I'll film it or something.
No, it's not. We don't want to see you die. Come on.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is I was born and raised in South Central LA.
It's not
a great neighborhood. My block was good, but I walked home from school every day, and technically.
But you're
hello.
You're not walking through a area where the cultural stance says it's okay if you're not dressed in a right specific way, you're rapeable. That's not that's not how South Central is though. Or
I want to go. I'm just saying that I'm personally not afraid to go to this area. I will go. Now I want to go, and I will see what happens because I'm curious. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I don't.
I have no idea. I've never been.
I don't want to see.
But I want to know for my curiosity. But I'm curious, and I don't believe that I will be killed. Maybe somebody will throw a rock.
Okay,
Who the hell knows? But I personally don't feel like.
You want to use the best example? You know who else thought nothing would happen? Were those backpackers who were fucking tortured and killed in the mountains because they thought the same thing.
In the mountains? Where the hell was that?
They were literally saying, you know what? The Middle East isn't bad. We're going to go backpacking through there. And they went
to the Middle East? Are you comparing?
Well,
this is not the Middle East.
But those sections of it are pretty damn close. Come on, think about it. You said, right?
I'm going to do this. I'm seriously going to do this because I'm curious. I'm so curious that there could be a place in Sweden because I've seen the videos where the reporters go and they're pissed and they're telling them to get the fuck out of the neighborhood. But I want to do this for myself because I've heard about the no-go zones. I've heard that it's blown out of proportion, but I haven't been. As far as I know, I'm not entirely sure what designated places they are. But I want to go. Because I want to see what the hell is happening. And if that's true, that is bad. That's a problem. I don't want to pretend that it's not happening just because it conflicts with my personal idea of what I want Sweden to be like. If it's bad, it's bad. That's just a fact. So I want to go and I want to see what the hell happens. And I will report back. And if I don't, well, then you got your answer.
Well, I don't want that answer. That's what you don't seem to
No. I know. I'm not saying that, but
I'm going to say this right.
That.
I'm going to say this right here on YouTube and for the world. I do not condone you walking through a no-go zone in Sweden in makeup and whatever. You could be wrapped in a fucking trash bag. I do not condone it. I'm not suggesting it. And my whole audience thinks it's committing suicide. So if you're going to do it, that's on you. But fucking A,
I mean,
dude.
I have to do it. I have to do it now. I think me being in clown makeup might protect me, though. They might think I'm a demon or possessed or insane or a killer, all of the above, because most people think that. So, yeah, I will do some research. I'm not a complete idiot. I'm not going to read about it and hear like, oh, last weekend my friend was brutally assaulted. I'm not going to go after that. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to see what people have been saying about it. I'm going to look it up. Maybe I'll go to the least bad one according to what people say. And I want to see what it's like because I want to get an unbiased account of what is actually happening. And if it is as bad as people say, that should be addressed because I do think there's a problem that when people come to Sweden, they tend to stay within, their own communities, and it's harder for them to, branch out and meet new people and not get, they get too used to speaking their own language. I'm guilty of that. I get sucked into speaking English when I know I should learn Swedish, but it's so easy, it's easy to stick with your own people. And I feel like that is, some people say that that's a bad thing to say, that, oh, why is it bad if they stay with their own community? But I feel like, you should merge within the community. And Sweden culture, again, is very, very different. And I think that, you need to become immersed in it. And Sweden is so anti, sexism and all of those things. It's secular. And then you have people who are Muslim and, a lot of things are not very...
Okay, we got some requests. If you're gonna do this, which I do not condone, people want you to wear a clown burqa. They want you to also.
I don't know where I would get that.
I mean, you would probably have to create it. Someone also wants you to yell "Des Volt" while you're in the no-go zone. That probably will get you killed and raped. Also, I gotta say this: Sweden's running into these issues because of the simple fact that they expect a culture that will not integrate into their society to integrate. When you bring in people who have fought in wars with, I don't know, ISIS and these other branches, there's going to be good people and there's going to be bad people. And it's the bad people that give the good people a bad name. And when they're broadly running across this, it's going to happen.
Okay. You know what I just realized?
What's that?
I just remembered, I'm pretty positive, but hold on, I was just thinking about it, that it sounded familiar, that a place that I have been to is considered a no-go zone. So I will go there since I've already been there, and I can show you what it's like. And I haven't been deep in there, but I've been, and nothing's happened to me. So I'm going to double check and look at the list. Yes, part of it is there because it's in the city I live in. It's very close to where I live. I've been there. So I feel comfortable going there, and I'm going to try that out. But I see what you're saying about, integration is very important. I don't agree that people are completely unwilling. I think that there are some people who are. There have been, violent, awful incidents that have been committed by people who are, who come from the Middle East. I can't say it hasn't happened, it has. And I think the important thing is to look at why is this happening? And I don't think it's as simple as like, that's just their culture, because that is what a lot of people say. I think it is deeper than that. I think that Swedish people can be too passive. That I always say, I think Americans can be too aggressive, in my opinion, and I think Swedes are too passive. And I do think like that is a really bad culture clash to have, because Middle Easterners are also aggressive. That's the culture, and it's not a good combination. So I do feel like the way that Sweden has done things in the past, I don't agree with. There are certain things that I feel like they could be more hands-on, but I don't have the answer. But like, I don't think it's as simple as, they just shouldn't come. I feel like it's deeper than that. And I think it depends. It varies, on the person. There are a lot of people who have come from the Middle East and, they've integrated fine. My father-in-law is one of them. I'm not on great terms with Robin, but he is a great man. I'm going to miss him being in the family. I hate thinking about that.
Yeah, some people are asking about him, but I understand. Like that's Dunzo, and but please don't go get yourself killed to prove a point. Others have done it. It's not worth it.
I would take precautions. I wouldn't go alone.
You guys don't have guns, do you?
No, the police do. But I mean, hunting, you can have a hunting license. You can have those types of guns, but no semi-automatics or anything like that.
Or sidearms? Can you carry
No, like no one's carrying. No.
Can you carry pepper spray? Are you guys allowed
I disagree. I disagree with the pepper spray ban or whatever. I don't agree with that. I think you should be allowed to carry pepper spray.
No, you can't carry pepper spray in Sweden?
No, as far as I know. I remember when I came here, I was like, that's ridiculous. I don't understand that. I don't really see why you're not allowed to have it.
What about pocket knives?
As far as I know,
I've never heard anything about that. Get yourself a very nice pocket knife if you're going to try this.
I have been wanting to. I have been wanting to get a very, for a while. So yes, maybe I will before I go. Safety first. I'm not a fool. I don't think that I'm impenetrable or, invincible. So I will take precautions. But again, I've been to this area and
but maybe you were on the edge. Maybe you were on the edge of it. Maybe the grooming gang was on the other side of town for the freaking night. You never know. It's the same mindset as anything. You can walk anywhere and get. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. You really truly can. And I feel like growing up in America, which is a very violent society, I was fine. So I just can't see that my one time going to a no-go zone, I'm going to get killed.
Okay. I'm going to challenge you on that because you don't see gangs running around raping people here unless they're MS-13. You're not seeing that. No, come on. If you can't acknowledge, so what we have? We have gang violence. Yes, congratulations. You guys have refugee violence. Refugee violence. You guys chose to let these people into your society, right? You get that, right? That's the difference. These are Americans who are citizens who have some issues and are down on their luck and are doing things to get by, but you guys imported problems. That's the issue that people see is you've imported problems.
I think that, in my opinion, I do believe that you should be willing to help out people who are in a shitty situation.
Of course.
Especially in terms of America, because America is responsible for a lot of the shit happening in the Middle East, especially how radical Islam has become. That is very America and the Soviet Union.
What? Have you
You know this.
I know that they've radicalized more, but you realize that they've been at war for thousands of years with Israel.
I mean,
Jews.
you know about how the Middle East was in. Women were able to not cover themselves in Pakistan and I believe Afghanistan, and they were heading in a more progressive, so to speak, direction. Women were able to hold certain jobs. That they went way back in time because of the America was trying to intentionally radicalize Muslims in the Middle East in the 70s. Like that's a well-known fact. That is completely. Are you saying that didn't happen?
I'm saying that you can't blame America intervening and all this stuff on America. You know, there's one other big group there that has caused a lot of this, even more than the U.S., right? And the reason why the U.S. gets involved in the Middle East so much, right? There's one individual state there that has great walls, and they have an iron dome.
I'm just talking about. I'm just saying that this particular specific thing that I'm talking about, it is true that the Middle East was becoming more. That's why Pakistan. There are parts of Pakistan that are very progressive, and there are parts that are like in the Stone Age. And it has to do with this. I mean, I don't remember all the details, but like there's tons and tons of things you can read about this. But this happened, and this is a huge reason why Muslims are became everything what basically backwards. All the progress that they had made was basically just completely gone down the drain.
And I am acknowledge that, but I'm also asking you, you understand why the U.S. intervenes in the Middle East so much, correct? It's not only self-interest, it's the interest of one body with an iron dome and a massive wall that we funded and took care of. There's one country that brings us into almost everything over there since the 70s. They're our greatest ally.
I feel like it's more about money than anything.
No. See, you tell me to do research into radicalization of Muslims. You do some research into U.S. conflict in the Middle East and who we've been there to protect. Fair? If you expect me to look into a group of people whose book literally talks, or a segment of their book talks about radicalization and killing infidels and everything else, you look into what I'm saying. Yeah? Fair?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I will read whatever I will read whatever, and you will have to read my information.
That's fine. You could toss it to me in an email. We are coming up to an hour. It's not anti-Semitic. It's called actually looking into things, because I'm not anti-Semitic. But Storm Blessed One, you keep talking out your ass. You're very good at that. But yeah, so anything you want to say to the people, anything you want to pitch, I'll drop your link for your channel.
Well, yes, my channel on YouTube is Lil Lunchbox, but I did want to say that I'm thinking about, because this conversation, I think, is part of the reason why I want to do this, that I kind of want to, people have been telling me for a while that I should make a podcast, but I was like, I have no idea, what the hell to talk about. But recently I was like, everything with the Klepe situation and the way that James Wood spoke to me, that I did think was, pretty decent, the way that he came, he wasn't rude or aggressive or anything like that. And I was like, I kind of want to do a podcast where I interview people that it can be, from any part of the political spectrum, but specifically I want to talk to people who are, have politics that are different than mine, specifically right wing, and just interview them. Like, I want to know things about their life. I want to know, what led to their political beliefs, and almost kind of like, bridging the divide, I was thinking about calling it, because I do feel like there's a lot of division right now. And I do feel like both sides are very reactionary, and there isn't really any progress being made, because no one actually wants to have a conversation. It's always yelling and screaming, you're racist, or, or you're a degenerate. I just feel like there should be a discussion. So I kind of want to start something like that.
Gotcha. I think I kind of do that over here as well, where I'll bring on people on both sides of the aisle and just talk. And you never know who knows. It may end up working out well. I do want to say thank you for jumping on. I know you just randomly popped into my chat yesterday, but I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Come in.
And also, I just want to say, if anyone is interested in potentially, being a guest on that, if they could email me at lillunchboxofficial@gmail.com.
Someone before you leave, they want you to check out Tim Pool's video on Sweden's no-go zones. He did a big expose on it while he was over there.
I might have seen that, but I'll look it up later. But I am going to do it. I'm going to venture there because, again, I've been there already. I survived, but I do feel like it's blown out of proportion.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. I do not condone it. I do not want to see you die. It's my note. Thank you for coming on, Lunchbox. I'll send you I'll send you an email, and we'll talk about those links I want to send you. So.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
And yes.
Take care.
Bye.
Dude, she's going to die. She's going to die over there, guys. It's the same situation with those people who think they can go anywhere in the world without taking... Storm, check out some of my older stuff. I've interviewed a lot of people on this channel. I just haven't been able to recently because of my Twitter getting roasted. I had a lot of... It won't be funny. I don't want to see anyone die. It'll be sad. Yeah, I did fail to keep her from that. I did attempt. I made all seriousness and attempts at it. I hope she does not do it. Anyways, guys, throw a like on the stream. Share it out there. Thank you so much for watching today. I know it wasn't our normal show, but, if you have anyone that you think would make for a good interview, drop the name and I'll try and reach out. So I will see you guys tomorrow for episode 16.
I got the funniest boner right now, dude.
Jesus Christ. Sicko has a clown boner. It's got a clown wig on it as well. But yeah, so... Watch out for episode 16. I'll see you guys tomorrow on AfterNoonWave. Go check out our OTC. They're about to start up.